Hello, Scruftards, degenerates, and strange, and weird internet folk. Welcome to the War Zone. I'm Scruffy, and this is Scruffy Tales. And I'm sorry to say, in this video, I will explain to you why Russia is close to victory in Kursk, and Ukraine is in real trouble in Kursk. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. We're gonna start off at Pokrovsk, where Ukraine has had some successes, and then we're gonna move up to Kursk and take a look at why that operation, that campaign, may be nearing its end for Ukraine. Right, so let's start off with the situation just outside of Pokrovsk here at Pishchane and Kotlina before we head on over to Kursk. Uh, Pishchane under Ukrainian control, but we have seen Russia pushing in to the mining facility. Uh, the other day they bombarded the entire town, including the mining facility, indicating that Ukraine had some success in countering the Russians. Now we're seeing more Ukrainian drone strikes in the area as well. So this part of the mining facility, this corner here, where Russia can move in out of Shevchenko via the windbreak here into the mining facility, this is where things are heavily contested and much fighting ongoing. And likewise, up at Kotlina, we have a lot of fighting. Ukraine appears to be able to support their foothold here in the southern part of town, coming down this highway, or this road rather, with armored vehicles, infantry fighting vehicles, armored personnel carriers. So I'm suspecting that this area here might actually be under Ukrainian control. We have some trench lines here that Russia was uh, previously that Russia previously held. But since Ukraine appears to be able to move troops through this area, I'm thinking these trenches are back under Ukrainian control. And Ukraine keeps pushing the troops into this part of town, being able to contest much of it. And we also know that Ukraine is applying pressure from the northwest into this part of town here. So Kotlina is very much contested as well. And Pishchane is of course very important because it is only a kilometer away from the dam or the lake here, and 2 kilometers away from the actual dam right here. And as you can see, you have a steep valley just beyond the dam, leading down to the Solona River. So, which means that if we hang on, if we can keep that, and let's make it the blue line. That means you have a waterway coming down like so, and then you have water here, right where we have the Solona River, and then we have a road coming up here and crossing right here where the dam is and leading up to Vovkova. And you have, where is it, that tiny, right, yeah, you can see this tiny bridge here with the pathway leading through the swamps. This is where you have another crossing of the Solona River. So Russia has very few options in supporting the troops up here, and they're essentially stuck to bringing in infantry down here, and it's difficult for them to bring in trucks and vehicles across the dam over here, with Ukraine being so close and being able to send in drones and what have you into the area. So Ukraine holding Pishchane, being in a situation where they can actually push towards the dam and hold it physically, puts a lot of pressure on the Russians. Russia need Pishchane back in order to maintain operations at Kotlina and trying to continue pushing into a Dachne. If Ukraine can hold here, if Ukraine can threaten the dam and this vital logistical route here, it's going to be difficult for Russia to hold on to these positions, relying on this tiny bridge alone. If Ukraine aims artillery at this place here, after having secured the dam, as we can imagine, not many troops will be able to make it across. And when we reach that far, Ukraine will be able to push the Russians back south, away from Kotlina, away from Dutchne, and down towards the Solona River. So Russia is trying to reclaim Pishchane, coming in through this windbreak and challenging the Ukrainians here. And if they succeed, they will secure this vital access point to all the territory up here north of the Solona River and west of the dam and the lake. Right, so Kursk, and here we have Mayakovsk 73's map. Why am I worried about Kursk? Why am I concerned? Well, it has everything to do with Sverdlikovo. Before we take a look at that, we're gonna focus a bit on what's going on here. Russia made a large assault across these fields towards Nikolsky, and they failed. Ukraine managed to hold the line. Not strange. I mean, take a look at the wide open fields Russia had tried to cross. They got their asses kicked. If we move over to Andrew Perpetua's map, if we take a look at this same area here you can see all that happened, and Russians really got their asses handed to them. Take a look at this Russian mob assault. I mean, infantry spread out over the wide open plains. This is not how you successfully attack on a modern battlefield. Artillery, drones, machine guns, everything available will just rip you apart. So not strange at all that this attack failed, and I don't know how many Russians died trying this fool's errand, but they paid the price relying on ridiculous and outdated tactics. But yes, a huge success for Ukraine here, but Russia has managed a very crucial advance down here at Sverdlikovo. As you can see, contested area has expanded beyond the river here, and that is what has me well and truly worried. Let's see here if we move over to the Ukraine control map. We can see down here, this is from the 15th, this is Russian positions, 14th Russian positions. We can see how Russia has pushed south into Sverdlikovo. They are now essentially in control of the entirety of the town here. This is from the 10th Russian positions. Would it surprise me if they are in complete control of the buildings down here as well. But what is the most worrying is this is Russian positions right on the bridge on the 10th. But here, take a look. 15th of February, the 36 Marines hit Russian positions in East Sverdlikovo. Russia has crossed this vital bridge up here, even this bridge, made it down this road and street, and got engaged down here in this compound. And Russia has managed to cross the river of Reka Loknia, and this is a real concern. And why is that? Why is this such a worry? Why am I so concerned about this? Well, I will show you. Here we go. Let's take a look. I think this is the best map. Yeah, here you can see that you have a river system that flows like this, that forms a natural barrier. If you have watched my videos for the last 6 months, you know I've been talking about this for quite a long time, how this river here is a natural defensive line for Ukraine, where Ukraine can hold basically their last line of defense. I've always said that Russia would eventually push Ukraine out of Kursk. Goes without saying, Russia will apply more and more pressure and manpower to the region, and Ukraine cannot hold. Eventually, Ukraine will fall back in its entirety. In so doing, these rivers will be crucial to slow down that progress. I've talked about this river. When Russia began pushing out of Korneva, I said Ukraine would eventually fall back to this river. They have done so. And I also said, before Ukraine gets pushed out, they must hold this river system because it defends not only Sudzha, but this supply line, this vital supply line right here, the main supply route. If Russia cuts this supply line, the campaign into Kursk is essentially over. This is the main supply route where all the logistics come through. If Russia reaches this road, this highway, the entire Kursk campaign is over. So, what has happened? Russia has crossed the Lochnia River at this bridge right here and made it down this street, or even in this area here. Let's see if we can correct that. There we go, something like so, something like, whoop, damn it. And let's make it like that, something like that, and that seems to be correct, right? Something along those lines. And I made it a dotted line to highlight that this is where they are on the far side of the river, on the far side of the bridge, within this crucial defensive barrier that is the Lochnia River and other river systems. And beyond Sverdlikovo, as you can see, it's difficult for Ukraine to supply Sverdlikovo, lots of wide open spaces. So it's difficult to move supplies and reinforcements into this town for Ukraine, and Russia will eventually, now that they have made it across the bridge, it's only a matter of time before they can cross this second bridge, and then they have Sverdlikovo, and this is when they can begin building up for the eventual assault that will take them across these wide open fields. Will they make a bold move along the main road here? Maybe, maybe not. I'm thinking they might want to try and move along the border here, actually, where you have a lot of cover in these windbreaks, reaching eventually this valley where you have a lake and you have some creeks running in the bottom of the valley here, and in so doing then unlock this territory or this area here, allowing Russia to move down the main road, and then you can bring in supplies to this area here, and Russia can move south along the valley, and as you can see, that brings them right down to this main supply route that leads from Sudzha all the way down to Sumy, right? So this is why I'm worried, and this is why I'm thinking that the campaign into Kursk is nearing its end. Ukraine must put a stop to this. If they allow Russia to move further into the territory here within this river system, eventually everything will fall apart. Ukraine has a couple of options here in the south, but we're talking dirt roads. If we zoom in and take a look at this, now you're going to be moving logistic trucks, fuel trucks, ammunition trucks, tanks, vehicles. You're going to be moving wounded out of here with ambulances and on trucks and vehicles and jeeps and what have you. You have another road here, as you can see, and I believe we have one more, from Sapsilia in Ukraine into Gornal here in Russia, a border village. Here you have some options. Again, not the most solid roads available. So, I mean, you can imagine that these will get turned into mud, and as soon as Russia begins hitting these roads with artillery and drones, you're going to have a lot of burnt out wrecks along the way here, blocking the road path, and it's doable, but not. It's not going to allow Ukraine to maintain operations in the north. You may use these roads to support Guevo, Kurilovka maybe. Sudzha, definitely not. I'm thinking when this road gets cut, Ukraine will fall back basically from all over Kursk here. Because then it's over. And as you can see here, Ukraine have very few defensive positions between Sverdlikovo and this crucial valley with this lake. So expect the main fighting to take place along this windbreak here that follows the border between Russia and Ukraine. I'm worried. I really am. And Russia taking Sverdlikovo could effectively be one of the last nails in the coffin here for the entire Kursk operation. Russia reaching this line here, by then it is over. If Russia gets this far, it is over. Then this supply route is basically cut. It's well within reach of Russia to disrupt anything happening along this road. So, Ukraine needs to address this. If possible, reclaim Sverdlikovo and regain control over the bridges and this river. Otherwise, all of this is over. It's over. And this village here, this move by Russia pushing in here, has undone everything we saw down here, has undone the Ukrainian defenses up here that we just talked about, defeating the Russian push across the open fields here. This is the most crucial battle in Kursk at the moment, and Ukraine has to find a way to address the fact that Russia has made it across the river, and that Russia is in control of this vital bridge. And yeah, doom and gloom, unfortunately. It was a matter of time. We all knew that Russia would eventually push Ukraine out of Kursk. I mean, it goes without saying, Russia would not allow it. It was only a matter of time. And how much resources would Russia put into it, and how fast would it happen? But eventually Russia would kick Ukraine out. And we're now near that point, unfortunately. All we can do is hope that Ukraine has an ace up the sleeve and that they can turn things around in Sverdlikovo and regain control of that town and that bridge and that river. Anyway, that's it. I hope I'll see you in the next one. As always, go på marsch, Ukraine, and give them hell.